Roman Reigns returns at SummerSlam for Solo Sikoa. John Cena is not really retiring. CM Punk knows how to trigger people backstage. A popular tag team received offers from both WWE and AEW. A WWE Hall of Famer gets shot at. Rhea Ripley is leaving the Judgment Day. Damian Priest botch overlaps. All AEW botches. Why Randy Orton is turning on Cody Rhodes. Will Solo Sikoa dethrone Cody Rhodes? Let's dive right in. John Cena is not really retiring. John Cena recently announced he plans to retire from in-ring competition in 2025. Dutch Mantel, formerly known as Zeb Coulter in WWE, does not think the 47-year-old will stick to his word. Throughout wrestling history, several high-profile names have retired before reversing the decision years later. A famous example of this came in 2018, when Shawn Michaels wrestled at Crown Jewel 8.5 years after The Undertaker had originally retired him. Mantel worked in the wrestling business as a booker, in-ring competitor, and manager for 5 decades. On Sportskeeda Wrestling's Smack Talk show, the 74-year-old said Cena will likely come out of retirement for the right price. These guys could say, "Oh, I'm gonna retire until the cows come home, but I guarantee you he won't retire," Mantel stated. "We'll see him after 2025. And why not? If they say, 'Hey, we've got a shot for you, blah, 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 and you'll make this,' Cena will not say, 'Oh no, I'm retired, but you can make this. Oh, well, maybe I can come out one night, maybe just for my fans.'" It has already been confirmed that John Cena's final WrestleMania match will take place at WrestleMania 41. The 2-night event will be held at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on April 19th, 2025. Cena gave further details on his farewell tour at a press conference after Money in the Bank on July 6th. The 16-time world champion revealed he wants to work 30 to 40 dates between January and December 2025 before retiring at the end of the year. Cena is 1 reign away from becoming the outright world title record holder. He has jointly held the record of 16 with 2-time WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair since 2017. CM Punk knows how to trigger people backstage. CM Punk shocked the wrestling world when he returned to WWE after almost 10 years at the 2023 Survivor Series War Games premium live event. Recently, the former longest-reigning Intercontinental Champion in history, Gunther shared his honest thoughts on the Second City Saints' presence back in the company so far. The former AEW star is currently involved in a feud with Drew McIntyre. Punk has time and again cost the Scottish Warrior the World Heavyweight Championship. After Money in the Bank 2024, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce fined both stars a hefty sum before McIntyre's actions resulted in his suspension. Meanwhile, the Ring General is set to clash against the Judgment Day's Damien Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam 2024. In an interview with Gorilla Position, Gunther weighed in on what he thinks about CM Punk's return to the WWE. "I wouldn't say we are friends or something, but we're colleagues and all interactions have been pleasant so far. I was not involved in any story or program with him, CM Punk, so I can't really say much about that. But from what I can tell from the outside, it seems like he's really enjoying being back and being part of WWE again. And yeah, I think he's one of the best when it comes to keeping himself in the conversation. He knows how to trigger people, and he knows which buttons to push to stay in the conversation," he said. On the July 8th edition of WWE Monday Night Raw, the straight-edge superstar cut a promo revealing why it was necessary to stop Drew McIntyre from winning the world title match at MITB. Seth Rollins interrupted the segment and blamed the 45-year-old star for costing him the World Heavyweight Championship at the premium live event in Toronto, Canada. Speaking on an episode of Busted Open Radio, WWE Hall of Famer Bully Ray claimed that the rivalry between CM Punk and the Visionary must be revisited at some point. "They still have to get back to that. This is very personal with Punk and Seth, the things that they had to say about one another while they were in separate companies. There's money to be made in this quote-unquote blood feud," said Ray. After a meltdown at Money in the Bank, the Scottish Warrior is set to make his comeback on the upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw. The Stamford-based promotion might set up a huge Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk match for SummerSlam 2024 if the latter star is medically cleared. A popular tag team received offers from both WWE and AEW. WWE's Triple H and AEW's Tony Khan have been trying to lock down some of the best talent around the globe for their respective promotions. According to a new report, Both promotions have offered contracts to the Motor City Machine Guns agent. The Motor City Machine Guns is arguably one of TNA Wrestling's finest tag teams in the promotion's history. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley have been with the promotion for years, and the two are finally exploring other options as they become free agents. According to PWN, WWE and AEW have offered contracts to the Motor City Machine Guns agent. The final call hasn't been made yet by the Guns. However, the report states that the tag team is leaning more towards the Stamford-based promotion, and they could likely end up under Triple H's regime. Alex Shelley previously had 3 matches for the Stamford-based promotion's developmental brand under Triple H's regime. Meanwhile, the Motor City Machine Guns competed for Tony Khan's All Elite Wrestling in 2022. It'll be interesting to see where the team lands in the coming months. Last year, DIY reunited on the main roster when Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano joined forces to take down Imperium. The Stars eventually moved on to different feuds on the brand before heading to Friday Night SmackDown. After the annual draft, the two feuded with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller for the newly introduced WWE Tag Team Championship. Ciampa and Gargano finally captured the title in Toronto, ahead of Money in the Bank. On the recent edition of Friday Night SmackDown, the team successfully defended their title in a rematch. After the match, Solo Sikoa's bloodline attacked the two teams to make a statement. After winning the title, Ciampa added a story on Instagram and seemingly teased the Motor City Machine Guns' arrival in the Stamford-based promotion. It'll be interesting to see what the champions do next on the brand. A WWE Hall of Famer gets shot at. WWE Hall of Famer and former US President Donald Trump faced an assassination attempt recently. He will be contesting for the upcoming presidential elections. Trump has been a key figure for the company, making several appearances. In fact, the Trump Plaza in Atlantic City hosted WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5, creating history by becoming the only venue to host the show of shows consecutively. The former president was also a main focus in the Battle of the Billionaires storyline, along with Vince McMahon at WWE WrestleMania 23. Trump was at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday evening when the assassination attempt was made. The bullet went past Trump, grazing his ear. The 78-year-old Republican candidate was seen bleeding in pictures that emerged. Trump later stated that the bullet pierced the upper part of his right ear. Reports suggest that the shooter and another individual were killed in the incident, with 2 others critically injured. The FBI has not yet released the name of the shooter. The current U.S. President, Joe Biden, who will be contesting against Donald Trump, also condemned the incident, claiming there was no place for violence in the United States. There have been no official statements from WWE yet. However, given the magnitude of the incident, some reactions should be coming up soon. Rhea Ripley is leaving the Judgment Day. A popular male WWE superstar recently opened up about Rhea Ripley avoiding him ever since she made her blockbuster return to the company. The said performer is none other than Dominik Mysterio, who has been closely associated with the Eradicator for a long time now on Raw as part of the Judgment Day. Ripley made her blockbuster return after nearly 3 months during the latest episode of WWE Raw, just when Dominik Mysterio and Liv Morgan were about to... The crowd erupted upon seeing the former Women's World Champion make an unannounced appearance, while Dominik and Morgan looked shell-shocked. She was later announced to address fans on the upcoming edition of the Monday Night Show. Amid this, Dominik Mysterio recently spoke to ESPN, where he discussed his equation with his Judgment Day stablemate. While Dirty Dom confirmed Rhea Ripley was avoiding him for now, he promised to fix things with her. "I tried my best to communicate with her. Rhea Ripley. She's kind of avoided me as of now, but she kind of has no choice but to see me on Mondays. So, I'm going to fix things. I'm going to do my best to fix things on Monday," Dominik Mysterio said. What the future has in store for Dom Dom and Mommy remains to be seen. While speaking on his Not Some Wrestling podcast recently, WWE analyst Sam Roberts predicted that if Damien Priest lost his World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam 2024, other members of the Judgment Day could turn against him. Roberts believes if this happened, Rhea Ripley would pick Priest's side, and the two would embark upon a babyface run. The Judgment Day beats down Damien Priest, except Rhea attempts to stop the breakdown and ends up siding with Priest. The Judgment Day is now Dominik Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough, and you end up going towards a rivalry between Damien Priest and Finn Balor, Sam Roberts said. The Archer of Infamy has been showing babyface tendencies of late, and it would not be surprising to officially see him embracing his good side soon. Damien Priest's botch overlaps all AEW botches. According to WWE veteran Dutch Mantel, the Money in the Bank Premium Live event had one of the most outrageous botches in recent memory. While AEW has often been criticized for some of its botches, this mistake at the PLE apparently eclipses any of the ones made in Tony Khan's promotion. During the World Heavyweight Championship match between Damien Priest and Seth Rollins, a particular spot had the champion on his back seemingly knocked for a loop. Seth immediately went for the pin, but the referee stopped counting just before 3 despite the Archer of Infamy not kicking out. Many people noticed the glaring mistake, including Dutch Mantel. Speaking on the latest episode of Sportskeeda's Smack Talk, Dutch stated, "You are taught from day one that if it's not the finish, kick out at 2, at least 2.5, unless you are taking the pin. You are taught that. And I don't know where this something happened, and somebody said he was knocked out, I don't know. But it was a massive, massive botch. I don't think we can talk about AEW botches anymore. This overlaps all of them." When asked about the mistake during the match, Triple H responded by stating that the referee's decision was final. Questions about whether a new WWE champion would be crowned were raised soon after the match ended, leading to Triple H addressing the concerns at a press conference. He stated, "Referee's decision is final. I am looking forward to having a conversation with the referee to see what he saw that I didn't see, that you didn't see, that no one saw. Human being in a ring, mistakes happen, things happen." Damien Priest is set to defend his title against Gunther at WWE SummerSlam on August 3rd. The latter earned the title shot after winning the King of the Ring tournament. It will be interesting to see who comes out victorious. Why Randy Orton is turning on Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton has had Cody Rhodes back in his feud with the Bloodline on WWE SmackDown. However, wrestling veteran Tommy Dreamer thinks the Viper could turn on the American Nightmare for a single reason. Last week, Orton and Rhodes teamed up with Kevin Owens to fight the Bloodline at Money in the Bank. However, they came up short. On the last episode of SmackDown, the American Nightmare confronted Solo Sikoa's group alone inside the ring, despite the Viper warning him about being outnumbered. Sikoa and his associates then attacked him before Orton interfered. Nevertheless, the segment ended with the Bloodline tying Rhodes up and putting Orton through a table. Wrestling veteran Tommy Dreamer believes this incident could result in the Viper betraying the champion. On the Busted Open podcast, Dreamer claimed that Orton could turn on his former legacy partner because he was beaten up by the Bloodline due to Rhodes' ignoring his advice from earlier. If you think about Randy Orton, he kinda warned you, Cody, and then yet he has to get his A kicked for you. That's the story that could be told if Randy, like you and I had talked about, ever turns on Cody, he said. Will Solo Sikoa dethrone Cody Rhodes? Solo Sikoa has formed a new-look bloodline, as he took over the group in Roman Reigns' absence from WWE. A wrestling veteran believes the group could soon win their first gold. The wrestling veteran in question is Tommy Dreamer. While discussing the Bloodline storyline on the Busted Open podcast, he pointed out that Solo Sikoa would probably challenge Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Dreamer believes the American Nightmare would retain his title and claimed the Bloodline could capture the WWE Tag Team Championship instead. Last Friday on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa's group attacked the current champions DIY. Dreamer stated that the Bloodline dethroning Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa would add to the faction's credibility. I'm also looking at, probably from what happened last night, not at SummerSlam, but if you put some gold around the waists of members of the Bloodline, who did they beat up yesterday after their tag match? Gargano and Ciampa could be wrestling and lose the tag titles in their hometown, and then Bloodline's got some gold, which would also help add to their credibility, he said. The wrestling legend suggested that Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa be the Bloodline members to hold the tag team championship due to their storied history in New Japan Pro Wrestling that involved multiple tag titles for the duo. It would also make perfect sense, as that would free up Fatu and Solo to take up the mantles of the Enforcer and the Tribal Chief, respectively. If we go history, we go with the brothers. They were tag team champions in New Japan, had a great successful run. I don't know where you go. I think I'd pattern it after what the Bloodline was given the two. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, I'd put it on them. They're the established brothers tag team. And, Jacob Fatu is now kind of just playing the role of Solo, because Solo is playing the role of Roman, and you have all your pieces together, he added. On his Wrestling with Freddie podcast, former WWE writer, Freddie Prinze Jr. suggested Sikoa could dethrone Rhodes if Roman Reigns does not return for a few more months. He referenced John Cena and Randy Orton's rivalry, where there was a back-and-forth exchange of titles, suggesting the champion and Solo might be headed towards something similar. I think Cody has a chance to lose the title, but he'll get it back quickly the way Randy and John went back and forth with one another. That's the only way I see this story working without Roman Reigns coming back sooner rather than later, to stop all of Solo's plans and say, "No, no, 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 I'm the tribal chief. You are not the tribal chief. Cody's gonna have a different story, and we're gonna focus on this bloodline story here. And there'll be other challengers for Cody Rhodes to face," he said. With Sikoa probably challenging for Rhodes' title, and the bloodline potentially going after DIY's championship, it would be interesting to see if the faction succeeds in capturing gold in the upcoming weeks. Roman Reigns returns at SummerSlam for Solo Sikoa. Former undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is reportedly set to return to the company after being absent since WrestleMania 40. It is being speculated that the Tribal Chief could return at SummerSlam after the rumored match between Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE Championship. However, according to veteran journalist Dave Meltzer, the big dog might cost Sikoa a chance to win the title at the biggest party of the summer. Solo Sikoa has taken charge of the bloodline in Reigns' absence. The former enforcer booted out Jimmy Uso on the SmackDown after WrestleMania XL and added Tama Tonga. Later, he added Tonga Loa and Jacob Fatu to the heel faction and removed Paul Heyman after the Wiseman refused to acknowledge him as the tribal chief. Last week, Solo called out Roman and claimed that the latter did not deserve to lead the bloodline following the big dog's defeat to Cody Rhodes at the Show of Shows earlier this year. Last night, the former NXT North American champion claimed that if Roman Reigns returned to the Stamford-based promotion, then the latter would also acknowledge him. The recent developments have heightened the anticipation of the original Tribal Chief's return at the biggest party of the summer. As per Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the former Shield member could return at SummerSlam 2024 and interfere in the Cody Rhodes vs. Solo Sikoa match to cost his former enforcer a chance to become the undisputed WWE champion. However, the 64-year-old pointed out that a major issue with such a finish is that it has been overdone in the company over the past few months. Roman Reigns returning on that show to confront Solo Sikoa and cost him the title makes sense, even if it's becoming a little redundant on PPV world title matches of late, Meltzer stated. Recently, a report from PW Insider stated that the head of the table could return in time for the SummerSlam Premium Live event. Multiple sources have claimed that Roman Reigns will be present at the biggest party of the summer, although this doesn't necessarily mean he will wrestle a match that night. It was believed that Reigns was originally set to return 2 to 3 weeks ahead of SummerSlam, but unfortunately, due to the demise of his father, Sika Anoa'i, plans were delayed. Nevertheless, it will be interesting to see if Roman Reigns returns to WWE TV ahead of SummerSlam to confront Solo.